Let's have a look at 3 different ways to solve for missing angles in a triangle using what's called the angle sum of a triangle. Let's go ahead and have a look at our first example. Okay, here we have a triangle where the corners, or the angles, have been labeled with capital letters A, B, and C. And we've been given the values of angle A and angle C. A is 82 degrees and C is 74 degrees. But angle B is missing. There's no number here. So we have to solve for that missing angle. And we're going to use the angle sum of a triangle. So just what is that? What is the angle sum of a triangle? Well, simply put, it's a rule, the golden rule for all triangles, which says for all triangles, the sum of the 3 angles must equal 180 degrees. No matter what triangle you can imagine, its angles will always add up to 180 degrees. And this works out fantastic for us because it means anytime we know 2 angles of a triangle, we can find the missing one. All 3 must be 180. So if that's true, I can show this with some math. I can say that angle B must be equal to 180 minus whatever the other 2 angles add up to. And I'll show that like this, 82 plus 74. And my next line, I'm just going to add those 2 numbers up. 180 minus 82 plus 74 is 156. And finally, 180 minus 156, well, that's 24. And we're talking degrees, so I'll put that symbol there. So this missing angle must be 24 degrees. So all 3 of these angles will add up to 180 degrees. All right, there you go, angle sum in action. Let's have a look at another triangle. In this triangle, I've only been given one angle, 42 degrees for A, and I have 2 missing. B and C don't have any numbers. However, fear not, because these 2 little red lines mean that the length of this line, AB, and the length of this line, AC, are identical. So anytime you see 2 matching symbols, it's telling you that the 2 lines are, in fact, the same. If that's true, then this angle and this angle must also be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and put a variable in there. I'm going to say x for that and x for that. I'm using the same variable because, in effect, they're the same angle. Now I know that all 3 of these angles must add up to 180 degrees. So let's show that with a math equation. I'm going to say x plus the other x plus the 42 degrees that we have is equal to 180. Now let's simplify this a little bit. Let's put these 2 x's together. X plus x, well, that's 2 x's. So I'm just going to say I have 2 of them, 2 x's. Plus that 42 is still equal to 180. Okay, great. Now we need to start isolating for this x. The first thing I want to do is get rid of this 42. I'm going to bring it to the other side and just keep everything that's got x's in it on the left side. So to do that, I'm going to subtract both sides by 42. Plus 42, and I'll say minus 42, is also equal to 180 minus 42. And next I'll clean this up a little bit further. I'll say 2x, and then I have a plus 42 minus 42. That just makes a 0, so I'm just going to leave that out. Equals 180 minus 42, that's 138. And finally, I need to isolate the x, and since I have a 2 multiplying it, I'll just do the opposite of that. I'll divide both sides by 2. This 2 over 2 will just leave a 1x, and I won't bother writing the 1 in front of it. And 138 divided by 2 makes 69 degrees. So I know this angle and this angle both must be 69. So for this example, remember these 2 symbols. If you see identical symbols, it means the lines are in fact identical as well. And if they're joining each other, like we have here, like a tent structure, it means this angle and this angle are also identical. Okay, let's move on to our third example. Here we're only given one angle, 54 degrees for angle B. Or are we? Do you remember what this symbol means? The red square means that this angle is 90 degrees. So in effect, it's like a symbol for writing a 90 right here. So it's almost the same problem that we saw in A, where we're actually given two numbers, and we have to find the missing one, in this case, angle A. So knowing that angle C is 90 degrees, why don't you go ahead and try this one on your own on paper, and I'll show you the solution when you're ready. All right, we found out that angle A is in fact 36 degrees, and we used more or less the exact same steps I showed in example A. The only trick is we have a red square symbol instead of an actual 90 written in that angle. 36 degrees.